Welcome back to Reel to Reel. And now we're going to be talking once again about the Mill Valley Film Festival in full swing right now. They got the celebrities. I think Dustin Hoffman's there tonight.
Seems like we just talked about it last week.
Yeah, we did, of course.
There you go.
And we've talked about it for 3 weeks because it's like a huge film festival. It's one of the best film festivals in the world. And in studio now we have the director of Critical Mass.
That's me.
Mike Freedman. Welcome.
That's also me. Thank you.
Welcome, Mike.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And Mike came all the way from the UK to be here.
That's very true. I did.
We booked him first, and then he decided to come to the film festival. So we appreciate that.
Luckily, I didn't have to get out of the airplane to push.
So tell us about the film, Critical Mass.
Okay.
Give us a brief overview.
Brief overview. All right. The elevator pitch.
That's not enough.
The infamous elevator pitch. It's a feature documentary about the impact of human population growth and consumption on the planet and on human psychology. Just rolls off the tongue.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So
off of your tongue.
Define critical mass, that tipping point of...
Okay, so critical mass, here in SF, you guys know it as the bicycle thing. I've gotten used to saying, no, it's not about the bicycle thing.
There are no bicyronically harmed in this movie.
That's what somebody asked me. They go, it's critical mass, it's about the bikes?
Yeah.
No, it's about population.
You and me both, but it's ironically no bicycles for an environmental movie. Critical mass is both the word obviously used to describe a nuclear reaction where it becomes self-sustaining once it carries on without further energy input. It's also a socio-dynamic function whereby an idea that was previously marginalized is suddenly held by enough people that it spreads throughout the population. Mike Rupert also calls it the 100th monkey syndrome, which is an apocryphal tale from the Bikini Atoll.
Okay.
So it's when you reach a majority that then controls.
It's something that they use it, it's a dirty word, but they use it in the marketing field as well. The idea is that about 10%, when about 10% of a particular audience either hold a belief or are aware of something, then that awareness suddenly increases exponentially, and there's really no further scientific explanation of why that happens. It seems that once enough of us know something, we all tend to find out about it.
Okay.
So that's both the hope, and also it does mean a tipping point, that self-sustaining reaction I mentioned. So critical mass in the sense we need a critical mouse. There's a
mouse in the movie.
There are many mice.
Yes, quite a few.
Pluralized. We need a critical mass of people seeing what's going on around us and acting in reaction to it, and also we hopefully can avoid reaching a critical mass where certain changes are unavoidable or can't be rectified.
Global warming
climate change. I believe it's been rebranded because obviously, back in the day they used to say it was global cooling, right?
Right.
Back in the 80s and 90s, the fear was, the 80s, it was global cooling. Now it's global warming, so now it's climate change, right? I mean, we do see it. Was it record highs in this trip out here? I mean, I'm in Northern California. It's boiling hot. I'm sitting in the studio sweating.
Really? I was comfortable.
Yeah, but you've acclimatized.
Last week it was worse, actually.
It was.
But Mike, this is a feature documentary, and this is your first documentary?
This is, I believe, what they refer to as my debut.
Wow, in Mill Valley.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you very much.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a very big deal.
They were very fine to have me, and the bribe wasn't actually that much, so it worked out.
Can we take a look at this trailer?
I think, do we have the trailer ready?
Yeah, we do.
Let's take a look at the trailer.
All right, let's do it.
Back in the 1950s, we heard about some experiments done by a man called Cahoon, in which he put rats into a limited space and then gave them unlimited resources. The rat population started to grow. It reached a point where they could no longer function as rats. Their social structure collapsed. The population was in serious trouble.
It's actually what Kelvin's daughter said.
1950s, world population was at 3 billion. Now it's at almost 7 billion, so it's more than doubled within my lifetime.
Everybody expects that population is going to level off at 9 billion people, and they don't think that's a big problem, whereas as a matter of fact, it's quite large for the world.
The assumptions that 9 billion people on the planet by 2050 would not be a problem are generally predicated on the assumption that we can continue to increase agricultural yields. Mother Nature is not going to negotiate, and when we don't have the oil, we're going to be forced to the negotiating table one way or the other.
What we want to achieve is a decline in human civilization in the early to middle decades of the century, we are right on the track.
Dr. Calhoun, as a human being, after going through this experiment, what goes through your mind? Are you worried about the future of mankind?
That looks really good.
Really good. And we actually have 2 passes for somebody who wants to call in.
My friend, we have 2 screenings coming up, one on October the 13th and one on October the 14th. And I even will allow the person to choose the date. We have 2 free tickets to either show. It's up to you whether I offer a trivia question or whether we just give them to the first person that calls.
I think we give them to the first person who calls.
Right.
Alrighty then.
And so how did you come up with this concept? I mean, it was like...
So population growth is obviously an issue that's not only important, but it's also not very frequently tackled head-on. If it is mentioned at all, it tends to be mentioned in passing, and usually the focus is on consumption rather than the number of people. And consumption is a valid issue, but I wanted to tackle the population issue itself. Look at it, accept that it's a complex issue, and try and cover as much of it as possible.
Right.
So it's tricky coming at it because you don't want to make some kind of preachy, guilty dirge where you're saying that people are bad for the planet and that there shouldn't be people, because I don't believe that. That's not something that I'm trying to put across. So the key was to find a story that helped us tell the human story, and that was the story of Calhoun's Rats and Mice.
Okay.
The scientist you see in passing in the trailer is Dr. John B. Calhoun. He was working in the 50s, 60s, and 70s at the National Institute of Mental Health in Washington, D.C., and his experiments were experiments in population dynamics. He would put rats in, mice in, he would observe how they reproduced and what happened to their society as it got bigger and bigger, what behaviors changed, what he observed. And there are some pretty bizarre and telling parallels to the human condition. So when I found
that we might react similarly if that happened too.
The distinction being not necessarily to say that humans will behave the way his rodents behaved, but that humans, like all mammals, have behavior patterns. Some of them are simple, some complex, and that those can change depending on external conditions. So it's not that a human will, say, savage its own young the way that a rat or a mouse would in crowded conditions. But
not always.
Oh, well, stick around. We don't know.
Yeah. I mean, if what's hip these days? If you watch The Wire or The Shield or whatever the kids are watching these days, then you'd think, that was all that was going on. But basically the point was to find a narrative arc so that we could tell a story. In this film, it's the story of Calhoun's experiments. And then from the experiments, each key stage, we hang a parallel to the human condition. So it allows us a window into our situation without us banging some kind of drum about how bad people are or whatever, because that's not really the angle I was interested in.
Okay.
Isn't that the hardest thing with the documentary, though, is to get people to care? Because 5 minutes into it, you're going, oh, is this just going to be the same stuff over and over? I think that's the challenge with the documentary, is to get the viewer to care, get them to buy into a story, get them to want to sit through. And it's a 90-minute
100 minutes.
100-minute feature.
This one got
That's
me
tough.
though, just from watching the trailer. I mean,
thank you.
It's the human condition. It's things that apply to all of us. I mean, I'm thinking there are too many damn people here as it is.
We have an opening for a PR person. If you're interested. I'm liking this. This is great.
Well, we'll talk off the air.
Yeah, we're hiring. We're hiring. No, I think you're absolutely right. Just to answer your point, it is tricky to get people to care. It is tricky to engage with people. There's a lot of background noise. There's a lot of attempts to grab people's attention. And documentaries, particularly environmental documentaries, also suffer because, let's face it, there's an unfortunate emphasis on guilt as a tool for change. And so you want to tread lightly. The intention is not to make people feel bad until they do something different. We took the approach that if we present people with the information, if we present them with the people who are experts in it, that are qualified in it, that are speaking to their experience and to their work, that presenting the open case will invite future study, invite discussion, and that's really the point. We're not dropping a neatly wrapped gift in people's laps. We're trying to present them with an invitation for them to then go out and learn more, to begin talking about these issues. More giving them ammunition than necessarily solving everything for them.
Right. So, Mike, you grew up in New York?
UK.
UK. You grew up in
I was
the
born
UK.
in New York City.
Okay.
But I've managed to tenaciously cling to my stylish colonial accent.
I know.
You have no British accent at all.
Apparently, my wife says that I have Cockney Tourette's when I drive. My road rage embodies itself in some pretty tasty swearing, apparently.
See, I grew up in the South, so I have a Southern accent once I consume too much beer, for instance.
Well, then drink up, because that's what we've got here.
Are you sure it's not just the slurring?
No. It's a distinct Southern accent that comes out.
Well, Calhoun was from Tennessee, the scientist who's the subject of the film as well. He's a Southern Baptist.
So what do you hope to see come out of the Mill Valley screening? I mean, is the expectation you're going to get picked up by a distributor? What do you hope?
Okay, so when we made the film, I committed first-timeritis, where I kind of believed that we would find a distributor who would put some money on the table. That would enable us to kind of get over the top. We have some archive footage in the film that obviously we've cleared for festival use, but that we don't own the commercial all-media rights to. So we're actually running an Indiegogo campaign right now to raise the money we need to clear those rights, because we do have distribution offers present right now in the UK, in Italy, and also we have a digital partnership on the table here in the US. So we have the platform ready and waiting to sign those deals to bring the film to the public. But because those deals don't have money up front, I need to raise the money to put the film over the top, so to speak. So we're running an Indiegogo campaign to do that.
And is that... Please, I was going to say, is Indiegogo...
Shameless plug.
No, please. And I want you to be able to do that. But Indiegogo is like the... What
Kickstarter.
Kickstarter.
It's crowdfunding.
Kickstarter.
Exactly. So basically the idea being that if you find... we need at least $30,000 to put us over the top. So the thinking being, the internet's a pretty big door. If we knock on it hard enough, we might find 3,000 people to give us $10.
Right.
And it's not the end of the world, right? So we offer perks. The link is indiegogo.com/critical mass. And obviously, we also have our website, criticalmassfilm.com. There's a link there. And the hope is that the perks we're offering, which range from a sneak preview of the film online to a DVD, to me coming to your house and cooking dinner, or filming your son's wedding, or bar mitzvah, or confirmation.
Give this man money.
I will literally...
Indiegogo/critical mass.
Indiegogo.com/critical mass. Right. Did I mention, by the way, that that's Indiegogo.com?
Yeah. Or go to Critical Mass.
I don't think you did. You should, though.
And then you can link to it from there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. Well,
I mean, I think, everyone go out and see Mike's movie, Critical Mass, at the Mill Valley Film Festival on October 13th and 14th. And what are the times again?
October 13th at the Sequoia at 1:30 p.m. and October 14th at the Throckmorton at 5:45 p.m. Come on down. I'll be doing Q&As after both, so you'll be able to do whatever you want, throw fruit, ask me a question, congratulate me, give me a bag full of cash, anything you want.
That's the exciting part of film festivals, is being able to ask the filmmaker questions and get some insight into the film. So please go.
Well, congratulations, Mill Valley. It's quite an honor, and
it is.
Everyone go out to its screening.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in, Mike.
My pleasure.
Thanks, Mike.
And we still have those 2 tickets available for the first caller, and
so give us a call at 877-699-4662, and you'll win.
TRadioV.